Executives placed by the Phillips Group deliver 375% revenue growth for Aminvest over a 4-year period.
The Phillips Group, working with Watson Wyatt, has driven the gross revenue from $600 million to $1.2 billion US, fueling an IPO. What a stellar result!
National Bank of Fujairah, having most of its executives placed by the Phillips Group, deliver approximately 30% net profit growth from 2017 to 2018.
The CEO of Enerflex, placed by Shane Phillips, takes the business from 1 employee in the Middle East to over 400. Unbelievable growth!
Carlton A. Phillips, working with the CEO of Garland Canada, drives phenomenal net profit growth, going from 6% to 26%. That is 430% growth to the bottom line. The Phillips Group plays a pivotal role in placing senior executives in many of the major family groups in Saudi Arabia, such as Al Raji, Sedco, Al Muhaydib, Dar Al Arkan, Camel Club, to name a few. Our specialty is delivering local talent, with 80% of our searches in Saudi Arabia being for nationals. How did these organizations achieve such incredible growth? What was the primary ingredient in their overwhelming success story? There is a common thread amongst them all: the Phillips Group's 5-star methodology, assessment, and selection process. Founded in 1984 in Canada by Carlton A. Phillips, whose career started in the artillery as a major in the armed forces. In the military, he was in charge of the assessment and selection of officers, and within this, the selection of officers who would be earmarked to become generals. This experience provided our founder with a unique perspective on the psychological markers of great leaders. What is it that allows someone to dramatically outperform the herd? What is it that produces superhuman performance? That is where the roots of our DNA sprout from and have grown from. Moving into the private sector, Carlton A. Phillips began applying his methodology to leading corporations and businesses across Canada. Since then, the Phillips Group has been helping companies build, align, and focus their leadership teams. If you are chairman, a vice chairman, a board member, a chief executive officer, or a senior member of the executive leadership team, your number one priority is to generate revenue for your company and subsidiaries. There is only one thing that delivers revenue growth, and that is your people. Our 5-star process ensures you get only the best. Let's look at some of our case studies. Watson Wyatt had a business with $600 million turnover, focused on actuarial services. They had a decentralized model and had to centralize many key functions. This required a culture change, a strategic shift, and a transformation of the business. The Phillips Group worked with them in driving these changes across all divisions. During this project, circa 80% of the leadership team of Watson Wyatt was replaced by the Phillips Group. As a result, the business went from $600 million to $1.2 billion turnover. The business IPO'd and then merged with Towers Perrin, becoming Towers Watson, and today the company is known as Willis Towers Watson, a multi-billion-dollar turnover business. Another example is Garland Canada, which is part of the Garland Group, a range and oven company founded in 1864 in Detroit. The business had a long history, a dominant market position, and a mature business model. They were struggling to find their next growth spurt and worked with Carlton A. Phillips to instill the 5-star model to change the culture, and the result was a 175% increase in EBITDA, 254% increase in cash flow, and several other phenomenal outcomes. In fact, the performance was so phenomenal, they wrote a book about it. It's available on Amazon. It's called Winners Are Not Lonely at the Top. Another case study is when the Phillips Group worked with Aminvest, starting back in 2013. Aminvest at the time was the smallest publicly listed investment company on the Muscat Securities Exchange. The chairman, Mr. Khalid Al-Zubair, had an ambitious vision for the business and wanted to make it the largest publicly listed investment company in Oman. The Phillips Group worked with that vision, and assessed the leadership team, the organizational structure, and helped the chairman select the Chief Executive Officer, Chief Investment Officer, Chief Risk Officer, Chief Internal Auditor, and several other senior executives in the company who went on to lead the business to a 1,000% net profit growth over the next 4 years. Today, Aminvest is recognized as the largest publicly listed investment company in Oman and is a real testament to the power of selecting the right leadership for your organization. Another inspiring story comes from the company's work with the National Bank of Fujairah and their CEO, Mr. Vince Cook, in selecting many of his senior executives. At the National Bank of Fujairah, we placed the head of institutional and wholesale banking, the chief risk officer, the chief information officer, the head of financial institutions, chief compliance officer, head of contracting, and several other senior executives in the bank. As a result, from 2014 to 2018, the bank has delivered approximately 30% net profit growth, which makes it an outstanding performer within the banking sector given its strong financial results. Over the past 4 decades, the Phillips Group has developed a framework that allows businesses to phenomenally grow and increase their net profit. This framework is called the 5-star process. The first star in that process is about facing the truth and understanding the facts the business deals with. Star number 2 is vision, where the CEO needs to articulate the common vision of the group. Star 3 is building a mutually supportive team. Star 4 is creating a disciplined culture. And star number 5 is to seek and seed leaders at all levels in the organization. This framework is underpinned by the Phillips Group's candidate assessment process, which dates back to our original DNA, where Carl Phillips was responsible for the interviewing, assessing, and selecting of military officers. At its core is tying your assessment process to your vision and mission. What are the critical success factors that a candidate needs in order to realize and achieve your vision? What is the idiosyncratic business case you're facing? What is the economic environment that you're working within, and how is all of this inculcated into your assessment program? Tying these elements together is a process that the Phillips Group provides to you. This is where you can drive the net profit growth to outperform the market and dominate the competition. We at the Phillips Group have proven that the most effective way to drive revenue and net profit growth is by being committed to hiring only the best people into your organization. If you feel strongly about this as we do, then let's work together. Connect with us on WhatsApp on +971 50 940 7537 or email us at ceo@tpgleadership.com.